Guys, welcome to another tutorial. In today's video we are going to be learning how to recreate this beautiful gown that you're seeing right here with a little touch on the lower part. If something like this interests you, you like to learn how to make something as beautiful as this, then keep on watching, guys. The next video you're going to see will be the recreation. So this is the recreation that I made after being inspired by the first video that you watched. So let's get right into the main tutorial. The first thing we're going to be doing right now is to cut the length of our pattern paper, which over here for the upper part is 18 inches. So we're going to be taking the vertical measurement starting from the half length, which is also known as the length, which is 18 inches. Then we're going to extend the line horizontally as shown. After doing that, the next part will be to measure our shoulder measurement, which is actually 8 inches. To get your shoulder measurement, do your shoulder divided by 2, which is how I got the 8 inches. Then I'm going to be taking in the measurement for the breast point, which is 10 inches. I'm going to mark it on the left hand side. Also on the right, I'm going to mark 10 inches. Then I'm going to be extending the line horizontally, just as you see me doing right now. Once you're done with this, the next step will be to measure a round under bust measurement. To get your underbust measurement, the length of your underbust, measure 3 inches from your bust point. Then after doing that, you extend the line horizontally and label it underbust, as well as label the upper part, your breast point. Then to get your armhole measurement, go up from your breast point measurement by 2 inches, then extend the line vertically as well as horizontally from that point. That will serve as your chest line as well as your armhole. Now on the armhole measurement, come down by 1 inch and then connect the line towards your neckline, just as you see me doing right now. Once you're done with that, make sure to mark the width of your neck line. The width here is 4 inches, so I'm going to mark in the width as 4 inches. Then the depth of the neckline is 3.5 inches for the front pattern. Once you're done with that, we're going to be connecting it with 2 straight lines, both on the vertical as well as on the horizontal side, using our rule. Once you're done with that, we're going to be using the curvy part of the rule to connect both ends together, just as you can see. This will give us our neck curve. If you're good at using your free hand, you can make use of that as well. After I was done with that, I had to use my tape to cross-check the measurement to see if it's okay, which is looking very good. Now make sure to find the midpoint of your armhole, then go in by 0.75 inches. After doing that, measure your round bust measurements on your breast point line. To get your round bust measurement, measure your round bust divided by 4, then add 2 inches for allowance. Once you're done with that, we're going to be using our rule to connect from that bust measurement that we measured earlier. We're going to connect it towards the mid armhole point back to the shoulder point line, just as you can see. Now I've gotten our armhole curve and it's looking very beautiful, guys. Now we're going to be taking the measurement for round underbust. To get your round underbust measurement, do your round underbust divided by 4 plus 2 inches. Also on your waistline, to get your waist measurement, do round waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches. Once you're done with that, connect each point together, starting from the breast point line down to the underbust and back to the waistline. Now we'll take our bust span measurement, which is our nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'm going to mark 4 inches on the breast point, under bust line, as well as on the waistline. Now we're going to be coming down from that breast point line by 1 inch. They will connect from the waistline down to the underbust and then to that particular line with a straight line. On the waist point, we're going to be coming out on the left hand side as well as on the right with half of an inch. Then we're going to be connecting the lines with a diagonal line, just as you can see. That's my only friend, no light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines and I'm through passing time. Once you're done with that, I'm going to be adding half of an inch on the waistline, the underbust, as well as on the breast point line and on the chest line. So I'm going to be connecting it with a straight line, just as you can see. If you know this is your first time on the channel, guys, please do well to hit on the red subscribe button, like this video, subscribe and comment down in the comment section below. Now we're going to be cutting out the parts, just as you can see, to make it look nice and clean. We're going to be using the front pattern to cut out the back. Now I placed a plain pattern paper and then I replicated it by placing the front pattern paper on the back. We're going to be using our marker to trace it out. The difference between the front and the back pattern is that the back pattern will not be having a zipper allowance, but every other part is the same. The neckline of the back will be deeper than that of the front. So make sure to place your pin on your pattern paper, pin the front to the back so it doesn't move. I made sure I traced out every point so I don't make a mistake and it will be easier for me to cut. I also traced out the parts for the darts using the front pattern paper to get the darts for the back. Once I was done with that, I had to cut out the back pattern using the front. Also, remember that your front armhole is supposed to be deeper than that of the back. Now I'm going to label the front FB, which is front which is the front pattern paper. It's supposed to be FP, not FB. So pardon that, guys. So now I mark the part for the shoulder points and the neckline, so I'll know where to trace out the back neckline from. I'm going to replicate the lines for the breast point, the under bust, as well as the waistline. Once I was done with that, I marked the nipple to nipple point, which is 4 inches. Then I'm going to be connecting it with a straight line. Then I marked half of an inch on both sides. After I was done with that, I connected the dart line, which some people also call the dart leg. I connected them together just like this. And then I marked the neck width using the front pattern paper on the back pattern. Once I was done with that, I removed the front pattern paper Then the depth of the back neckline is 8.5 inches. I'm going to be using my curve to connect the lines together. For it to be for me to get easy sewing way, I had to extend the width of the back neck, and then I didn't make it very curvy, so when I'm sewing it will not be difficult for me. So I added half of an inch or more than half, let's say 0.75 inches. Then I connected it and used my scissors to cut it out. Guys, please, whatever background sound you're going to be hearing, please kindly ignore it, as I don't know what to do and it was unavoided. 6 a.m. and I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion. Now we're going to cut it out, guys. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. Now it's time for us to cut out the back neckline. If you want your back neckline to be deeper than this, you can also take down the back depth to give it what you want. Once I was done with the cutting, this is how the front and the back pattern look. Now we're going to be cutting the part where we want the loop to sit. On the upper part of the back neckline, I took away 2.5 inches, and on the waistline, I took away 1.5 inches. I marked it. After I was done marking, I'm going to be using my rule to connect it with a straight line. It's now this part that we're going to be taking out. So now we're going to be cutting away that line that we just rolled. Once we are done with this, it's this point that we're going to be inserting our loop. That 2.5 inches line as well as the 1.5 inches, those are where our loops are going to sit in, because there will be no zipper. So now both the front pattern paper and back is ready. We're going to be using this to cut out the main fabric. Once we are done with this is how it looks. For the front, we're going to be having a single piece, one for the front and one for the back. For the back, we're going to be having 2 pairs of actual fabric and lining. Now we're going to be cutting the skirt part, which is from waist to hip line. I'm going to be cutting the front and the back. So now I took the length of from the waist to the hip, which is 9 inches. Now I'm going to be taking the round waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches for allowance. Also for the hip line, we're going to be doing round hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches for seam allowance. After we're done marking it, we're going to be connecting it with a straight line. Remember I said I'm going to be cutting both the front and the back part of the skirt we're going to be attaching to the half length to make it a gown. The difference between the front and the back part of this cutting we're doing is that the back part is bigger than the front with 1.5 inches. That is where our zipper is going to be sitting for the back. So make sure you look at this carefully. Now for that part of the zipper, I'm going to be marking 1 inch on the upper part, and then on the lower part I'm going to be marking 1.5 inches. So now I'm going to be cutting out the skirt part both for the front and the back. I'm going to be cutting it together, guys. You can see how it's looking. And also remember that the lining is on fold both for the front and for the back. So now I'm going to be cutting away the sides just as you can see.
cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I
After
got
I
what
was
it
done with the
takes, they
cutting,
not
the next
sleeping
thing
great.
would be to
Took a
open the
break,
back
feeling lucky,
part
feeling great, but
of
I'm not
the
sleeping straight.
lining.
Never
Only
stop,
the
never
back
change,
pattern, guys.
before I
Don't
give
touch
it
the
away,
front
and I
as the
got more
front
to
is
say, yeah.
unfold. So now I'm going to be connecting the line I marked earlier on, which I said I marked 1 inch on the upper part and 1.5 on the lower part. So I cut that place out. This will help us to avoid zip bulge. Then I'm going to be notching only the back part of the skirt, both on the upper part as well as on the lower part. On the front part, I'm going to be putting my tape and then I'll mark 4 inches in width, which is the nipple to nipple point. Then I'm going to be marking half of an inch on each side. Then I'm going to notch it with my scissors just like this. And the length of the darts will be 4 inches. So after I was done with that, this is how it looks. I'm going to be using this lining to replicate it on my actual fabric. So I'm marking it with my chalk to know the wrong part of the lining. So I'm cross-checking the dart also as well as the allowance, and everything is looking all good, guys. Remember, the front part of the lining is just a single piece while the back is 2-pieced. So the actual fabric too will be the same. 2 for the back and a single piece for the front. So after I was done cutting both the lining as well as the fabric, this is how it looks. We're going to be sewing it, turning it inside out, both on the side, on the waistline as well as on the lower part, leaving the back parts for the zip open. That's where we're going to be using to turn it inside out. Once we are done with that, for the upper part of the outfit, we're going to be using our lining to turn the neckline of the actual fabric, using half of an inch to sew it on the upper part. Also, we're going to be sewing the side with half of an inch, the two side and the neckline, leaving the armhole open, because that's what you're going to be using to turn the fabric inside out to give it a clean finish. We're also going to be stitching the lower part also. Once you're done with that, this is how it's looking like. We also did the same thing for the back piece of the fabric. So now we're going to be taking out our dart by stitching it down. Remember, we use our pattern to trace it out on the fabric. We turn the neckline for the back as well as the side and the lower part, leaving the back part open. Once we are done with that, now we're going to place the back part of the fabric to the front, stitching the sides down as well as the shoulder points, leaving just the back part open. So now to sew the shoulder point, make sure to sew lining to lining and fabric to fabric to give it a clean finish on the shoulder point. I also turned the part of the skirt inside out and then took away the dart. You can see how it's looking very clean. Now we're going to be stitching the sides of the skirt. We'll place the two back parts of the skirt to the single piece of the front. We're going to be using half of an inch to stitch the side, but if your allowance is 2 inches just like mine, you can stitch out the 2 inches. And then for the zipper part, we're going to take away 1.5 inches for the zipper. Once you're done with that, I attached a flay. I'm going to be showing you a video of how to attach a flay either on the side of your skirt or on the lower part. I'm going to be leaving the link to that video down in the description box. So this is the final result, guys, of the recreation. I hope you liked it. If you do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, like, comment and subscribe, guys. Until I come your way next time. Bye, guys.